Thank you.
My name is Karen Daly. I'm the Vice President of the Board of the Barnstable Land Trust. And I'm here in stead for our current president, Lee Towns, who was unable to be here, but asked me to give you our best regards. So I know we're thinking of Lee's with family tonight. So thank you all again for coming. I just want to remind people that you'll find your schedule of the program tonight in your book. And that we hope you will all stay for drinks and appetizers after the program is done. Before I move into the program, I just want to extend a thank you to our sponsors. They include Bridge Creek Capital, Cape Cod 5, and a special thank you to the Cape Cod Package Store who provided the wine that we've been drinking. Also, a sincere thank you to Cape Cod Community College for allowing us to have the meeting here, for hosting a free meeting tour of this building, which is a model of sustainable and eco-friendly new construction. For those of you that were on the tour, I was able to join part of it. It's a remarkable building, and just hope that it rubs off on some of the other parts of the Cape where we have the opportunity to replicate that kind of eco-friendly design. Now I'd like to welcome some of our elected officials, and we're happy to welcome State Representative, and I'm going to apologize ahead of time in case I mess this up, but State Representative Stephen
Carlos. Stephen Carlos. Just say you have that, so it makes it easy. Yes.
Is that what they do?
Yeah.
Okay. So thank you for joining me.
My office.
Also, we have town council members Paul Schnepp.
Right here.
And Chris Clark. All of them have really skinny legs because they got into. But thank you all for joining us as well. It really makes this a very special evening for us. I want to ask also that the BLT board members stand and stay standing for a moment. And I'll ask also for all the BLT staff to join them. Stand, please. And now, if you volunteer in any capacity for the Barnstable Land Trust, please stand and let us thank you. Thank you all for everything that you do for the organization. So it's my pleasure now to introduce Chris Clark, Town Councilor from West Barnstable, to read the proclamation of the Town Council in honor of Barnstable Land Trust's 40th anniversary. Thank you.
Thank you. I do this on behalf of my fellow councilors. And this was also read at the last town council meeting by Town Council President Matthew Levesque. So whereas the Barnstable Land Trust is a community-supported nonprofit whose mission is to preserve the natural resources and special places in the town of Barnstable and nearby areas for present and future generations. Whereas Barnstable Land Trust has conserved over 1,100 acres and supported the town in protecting over 11,000 more since 1983. Whereas Barnstable Land Trust celebrates the power of protected lands to support healthy people, healthy communities, a healthy economy, and a healthy environment. Whereas Barnstable Land Trust prioritizes community investments in conservation that reflects the values and priorities of a strongly connected community. Whereas Barnstable Land Trust is a recognized local, statewide, and regional leader in collaborative land conservation and stewardship, community engagement, and advocacy for our natural and cultural resources. Whereas Barnstable Land Trust welcomes everyone to enjoy the diversity of cultural and natural assets of its properties through programs, hiking paths, trail guides, and special initiatives which are accessible to those who live, work, play, and visit here. Whereas Barnstable Land Trust is celebrating its 40th anniversary this year by renewing its commitment to lasting results by ensuring conservation benefits and organizational excellence endures beyond our lifetime. We, the Barnstable Town Councilors, do hereby proclaim July 11th, 2023 in the town of Barnstable as Barnstable Land Trust Day. And we urge all people to join us in this special observance. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the Barnstable Town Council does hereby congratulate Barnstable Land Trust on their 40th anniversary. In witness thereof, I, Matthew Levesque, President of the Barnstable Town Council, hereunto set my hand and cause the official seal of the town of Barnstable to be affixed this 11th day of July 2023. Matthew P. Levesque, President of the Town Council.
Yeah.
So thank you, Chris, and Rec X.
Yes.
Let me just take one stab at the name, because I actually went online
Wow.
and listened to you be interviewed, where you introduce yourself, so you're Representative Stephen Xaros.
Bang. So.
The representative is here to recognize the accomplishments of one of our own, Kelly Barber. And we so appreciate you being here in person
Amen.
to recognize the work that Kelly's done as the Director of Land Stewardship.
Thank you.
Program. Thank you.
All right, everybody, let's do this. So I'm proud to be here as your state representative. I represent 45,000 people from Barnstable, Sandwich, and Bourne. That's the 5th Barnstable district. I call it the Fighting Fifth. If you need anything from state government, please come to me. I'm proud to do it. I'm also proud to be a graduate of this school. Class of 1978. I had hair and mustache. And you know, I went on to be a police officer for 40 years, but it started right here, so I'm proud to be here, proud to do this. It's special. So thank you, Chris, and my town officials. As a state official, we thought we would do this for Kelly. So it's pretty special, and you deserve it. And we were gonna do this in Boston, in the People's House, and I encourage you all to come, right? That's your house. That's where I work. I am so proud to be there and lucky. But we thought it would be better to do it here with our people right in Barnstable. I'm a proud Barnstable resident, and I want to read this to you. From the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, House of Representatives, which is 160 men and women from Provincetown to Pittsfield and back. Be it hereby known to all that the Massachusetts House of Representatives offers our sincerest congratulations to you, Kelly Barber, and the Barnstable Land Trust, in recognition of being named as a finalist for your excellence as a young professional by the Massachusetts Nonprofit Network. The entire membership, 160 of us, extend our very best wishes and express the hope for future good fortune and continued success in all your endeavors. Given this day at the State House in Boston, where American freedom was born. I'm always proud to say that. By the Speaker of the House, that's the big guy, Ron Mariano, by Rep. Kip Diggs, who shares Barnstable with me and is my friend, and me, your state representative. Congratulations.
Apparently I have this now. It's not on the agenda. But since I have it, I do wanna say that, and I said this at the 40 under 40 thing, so now everyone can hear it. But I feel like I'm a mere facilitator and, I wanna be able to facilitate what we've all been able to do without a supportive director. Without a supportive board, supportive staff, and especially, being the director of land stewardship. Fantastic, I'm really sad that Lee isn't here to hear this, especially hear this at the 40 under 40 gathering, but super, super grateful for our amazing land stewardship crew. We're around like 60 strong now and continuing to grow, and I'm motivated every single day. I'm really, really grateful, so thank you very much to everyone.
Thank you.
So, thank you, Representative Exaros.
Yeah. Love it, thank you.
So it's our 40th year.
Yeah.
And we have much to be proud of at BLT. Over this time, we've protected, as you heard earlier, nearly 1,200 acres of land and helped the town protect another 11,000 acres through our advocacy and support for conservation funding sources, from the land bank to the community preservation funds. We've accomplished so much under the visionary founders and particularly under the leadership of Jackie Barton for 35 of those years. Over the past 5 years, we've undergone further growth and transformation thanks to the leadership of Jan Milkman. Our board and the rest of the BLT staff, and continue to expand the organization's land protection and community engagement activities. We're now looking ahead to the next 40 years to adapt to changes in our environment, which we all, I know, have great concerns about. They include climate change, wastewater and drinking water crises, lack of affordable housing, and loss of critical natural resources. We look forward to continuing to grow BLT's impact through greater collaboration with like-minded organizations, which will benefit our partners, our partnering organizations, as well as the entire community of Barnstable. Of paramount importance are the efforts to grow our membership numbers and to engage volunteers. As a BLT member, please consider looking into opportunities to volunteer. We have many. We urge all members to act as BLT ambassadors and to reach out to family, friends, neighbors, work associates to attract new members of all generations. Thanks to all of our members and donors for your continuing support of our work to build a sustainable future on behalf of the Barnstable community. To get there, we need to ensure we have the capacity to meet our mission. So let's first hear from the chair of our nominating committee, Joe Hawley, and then from our treasurer, Jill McCleary.
You need help with that?
No.
I am. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yes.
Hi, folks, Joe Holly here. You know, I knew Steve was gonna speak tonight, and I asked Janet if she could dig into the archives here. We could get your transcript and kind of ask you some little Q&A on your personal, but alas,
I was.
those files are gone. Shocking, I know.
They're on pop.
Okay, so I'm chair of the nominating committee, and we have a great lineup of directors for you to vote on. We actually need to take 3 votes tonight, according to our bylaws. First one is for directors that are renewing, and very importantly, our 3 new directors. And when I call their names, I'd like to have them, they're starred here on the list. But Lee Towns, who is unfortunately not here tonight, and Justine Laharn is here. Robert Callahan, all going to re-up for another 3-year term to 2026, along with our new high draft pick, future stars here. And I'm gonna start with Michael Cohen. Michael, if you could just stand up, please, so people can get a good look at you. Your bio's up. Lisa's great. Lisa, you here somewhere? There she is. She's from Mashpee, but we let her get in. That's how big a draw BLT is. And Jill McCleary. All right. That's a good looking crew. Okay, so we need to vote on the 3-year term for those candidates. And I would accept the motion to accept. So second? Second. Okay. Am I allowed to do this all in favor? Oh, boy, I got a lot of power up here. Okay. We have some 1-year term folks, and those are Wendy Barker, Joseph Hawley, heard him, and Karen Daly. And so it would take a motion to accept a 1-year term for those renewing board members.
So moved.
Second? All in favor? Right, okay. I was gonna make a pitch for volunteers, but Karen handled that very nicely. Thanks for doing that, Karen.
Okay.
Okay, on our officers, a proposed officer slate for the coming year. As President Lee Towns, who's doing a great job. And you've seen her in action. Karen Daly is Vice President. Treasurer is Jill McCleary, and you can hear more from her in a minute. And clerk is Justine Laharn. So if we could have a motion and a second to accept that slate of officers. Second, all in favor? Hallelujah. Okay, then the nominating committee for the coming year, we have proposed Joe Hawley as chair. One of my favorite people, Harold Carter, Karen Daly, John Curtis, Karen Hanesian, Stacy Reinhardt, and with Lee Towns as ex officio and Janet as ex officio also. So care to make a motion to accept that lovely team? Second? Second. All right, all in favor? Hallelujah. All right, I think we're gonna turn over to Jill now, who's going to summarize our financial performance. Good job.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jill McCleary. I'm board treasurer. 2022 was a very productive year with 3 projects completed and nearly 40 acres of land protected. Memberships also stayed consistent with 937 members. 142 of those were new. Over the years, the board has made a commitment to increasing our capacity in terms of staff and volunteers. This growth has made it possible to maintain our membership numbers, complete the Michael R. Kramer Center at Fuller Farm, offer a wide variety of programs, and increase our presence on social media. All of these have increased our outreach and have had a positive impact on our operating results as we highlighted on the screen. While navigating significant transitions in 2022, most notably Jane Harvey retiring, revenues increased nearly 20% to $572,000. Expenses increased by 11% year over year to $684,000. With a growing team and membership base, we are well positioned to take on major upcoming projects, ready to capitalize on future opportunities, protecting the natural spaces that mean so much to this community. With that focus on growth, A new financial sustainability task force was created earlier this year. Members of this task force are exploring a wide range of ideas and opportunities to make sure that BLT's continued commitment to protecting the land and open space continues throughout the generations. And in closing, I'd like to thank everyone here and everyone involved in BLT for your passion, commitment, and dedication to maintaining long-term sustainability for Barnstable Land Trust. Thank you. And now we're going to hear from Janet Milton, Executive Director.
All right.
Get comfortable, everybody. Thanks. I did want to say that if you have questions, if you don't mind holding them till the end, but we will have time to have a little conversation. I'm gonna talk for about 15 minutes, maybe a little bit more. Then
Move your,
closer,
yeah.
is it better?
Yes.
Okay, if you can't hear me, just do this.
Thank you.
Thank you, Peter. So before I start, I just wanted to make sure, everyone knows who our staff is. They're all sort of standing in the back there, waiting to do something. But, I want to make sure everyone knows Kelsey Ellis, who is our new development director, and really stepped in seamlessly and, you know, it's been a wonderfully smooth and great transition. Kelly Barber, you heard a lot about, you're gonna hear a lot more about, but she's going out. And, I just want to introduce Molly, our intern, Sue Sullivan. Well, for all of our programs, all of our amazing communications and this evening, along with Sandra McNulty here with the camera. Sandy Perez, who's up front here, she's our newest member and sort of knows everything about the inner workings of our organization now and is really indispensable. Chris Paw is also here. Chris is our development assistant and also everyone is absolutely indispensable. We are a tiny little staff and we do a lot with our volunteers. But they are all stellar and everything that we're going to talk about tonight is a reflection of their work. So, I just wanted to start out by saying that we are a land preservation organization, but even though we are about preservation, we can still be agents of change. And we are always adapting to our changing environment. Whether it's climate change, whether it's the incredible need for housing, whether it's COVID or wastewater or drinking water crises, land conservation has a role to play in every one of those. And one thing that has not changed is the support of Cape Codders for conservation and for the environment in general. You know, you see it, we see it every time we go before town council. We have seen in a recent really exhaustive survey by the local comprehensive plan committee, who surveyed a lot of residents of Barnstable, and the top 6 items of people's priorities in that survey were all about the environment. And number 1 was protect, restore, and enhance priority natural habitats, salt and freshwater resources, open spaces. So we should all remember, because sometimes the headlines are really about a lot of other things, that people, we all, and many, many others out there care so much about the natural resources of the Cape, and that's really why we're all here. So that said, a recent report by the Association to Preserve Cape Cod
show that there is only 14% of the land area on the Cape that is left for either development or protection. So we still have a job to do. About 80% of that, so maybe 40,000 of the 50,000 acres, is all really critical for drinking water, for wastewater protection, for habitat. So we have a lot more to do, and we have to be ready as an organization, and land trusts all over the Cape have to be ready to take advantage of all opportunities. We can only protect land where the landowner is willing. But when they are, we have to be ready to jump on it, and that's why we've been trying to grow. And that's why we have been really investing in our organization, and will continue to do that. So as a result of that, we have some really exciting things to talk about, and we've closed on 3 projects in the last 12 months. I'm gonna talk about those, and then we had another surprise that came along, which was really fantastic, which I'll also mention. So I'm really glad that Felicia Penn is here, because she is rolling her eyes, and she and her family are putting on her sunglasses, so you won't recognize her. She and her sister, last year put a conservation restriction on her buildable lot, adjacent to Barnstable Land Trust land up in Comaquid. And this year actually donated the land to Barnstable Land Trust, and she gets the prize for.
That's really.
Sometimes it seems like these projects take forever, and sometimes they do, but this one gets the award for fastest project. The next project I want to mention, and I'm really glad that Floyd Sylvia is here this evening, is a 22-acre beautiful property in Centerville that Floyd and his brother Ron donated to us. We just that happened just at the end of 2022, and he gets the prize for patience, because he had to get in line and wait 3 years for a conservation land tax credit state. And then a little more added bureaucracy on top of that, but we did do the project, and we're really grateful for conservation-minded people like Floyd and Felicia. And we're really hoping that we're able to connect this property to a trail that the town owns, a former trail, and bring that back to do the outdoor education at the Centerville Elementary School that was started 20 plus years ago by Floyd and his family. Now, this next one was a nail biter. Also, a family that was really generous, conservation minded, and very, very patient. And this is the Brazelton family, who owned what was once a 100-acre farm up in Comaquid, or Barnstable Village off Commerce Road. They have been working with Barnstable Land Trust since the 90s. Starting with Jackie and Mark Robinson for so many years. First donating a parcel, then donating conservation restrictions, and finally working on this last 5+ acres with us that we just closed on June 29th. That is gonna protect this beautiful, important field and hillside and view shed to Barnstable Harbor forever. So, yeah. Now, this other project was a partnership with Barnstable Clean Water Coalition, and this is a great example of why we need to be ready all the time. So this was part of a very long-term project that the coalition has been working on to try and figure out how to restore the bogs in the Marston Mills River watershed to wetlands in order to improve, to take up more of the nutrients that are flowing in and causing such impact in the Three Bays area. So much of the nutrients flow through this one area. By restoring them as wetlands, there is an opportunity to really make a big difference. So the Barnstable Clean Water Coalition had an opportunity to take advantage of some state money that was looking for a place to land. And sometimes it happens, you know, there's money that's targeted for one project and that falls through for one reason or another, and then you really want to make sure it's used. So the Barnstable Clean Water Coalition scrambled, they bought 2 properties, also closing quite right at the end of June, and are giving Barnstable Land Trust the conservation restrictions on those properties. So that's another 64 acres of bogs that we will be protecting with them in perpetuity, and also a partner in education and potentially some of the restoration activities as well. So it's really exciting, a really exciting new partnership that you will hear a lot more about going forward. Moving on, now you're all wondering about Twin Brook. So this is a picture on your right there is a snapping turtle that Lori Scudder took playing golf there one day, and it had laid its eggs in the sand trap. Was making its way back to this beautiful pond over here. So we are continuing to work on this project. Our vision has changed because the Resort and Conference Center is now owned by a new owner and is being renovated. So we are looking at a smaller, all affordable project on just a part of the golf course and figuring out how to use the rest of the golf course for passive recreation and potentially also ecological restoration. So putting together a vision, we hope within the next few months, to allow decision makers to have an alternative to what is proposed there potentially. We get the question a lot, okay, so, you know, suppose we don't allow this 312 unit project, then what? So this is what we're trying to provide a really strong answer to. More to come on that. And again, you know, with the bog project I just talked about and the golf course, it's really important that we continue to focus on these perceived open spaces that people think are protected, but they're not. So just like all of the 14% of land that we know is unprotected, there's a lot more acres that we need to make sure we have our eye on. Now, this next project,
That's beautiful.
we, when we talked last year, this time, we were just about to start building. And now we have this beautiful barn. We have a home for Resilient Roots, the permaculture organization in the garden. And also an incredible place for our own land stewardship, maintenance and tools and equipment, and they're just working on building out that space now. We've also had, and I know some of you have come to some of our events there, but the upstairs space is really a wonderful event space as well. So a beautiful vision come to fruition, thanks to a lot of folks in this room.
It's beautiful.
So speaking about stewardship, Kelly came back in, so I can talk about her a little bit more. So we just, these are just some metrics that reflect the growth in our land stewardship capacity over the past few years. Under the leadership of Kelly, under the leadership of Lee Towns, who of course isn't here today, And also some really great leaders from our land stewardship committee. They are now able to operate independently. We have a mowing team, we have a burn team. We more and more have project leaders, and this frees up our staff to do a lot of other work too. So it is amazing how building our volunteer capacity, not just in numbers, but also in experience and leadership, has built the capacity of the organization to a great degree. And come along. Lest you think they are all retired men, they are not. We really have quite a few younger people and also some women. And also they have begun to take on some youth engagement projects too. So we have a very new project with Barnstable High School where all of the 10th graders are going to come and do a tracking project for flora and fauna at a number of our properties, Bell Farm, Fuller Farm, maybe Coons Bog, is that right?
Mansfield Meadow.
Mansfield Meadow, thank you. So, that is land stewardship and, you know, we have really expanded under Sue's direction, our, programs and our education. A couple of really fun things that we're doing for our 40th anniversary are our Hike Barnstable Challenge. So this is a self-guided challenge for anyone who wants to hike 40 miles in the town of Barnstable over June, July, and August. Well, July and August. We have 95 people signed up so far. There is no charge, but there is a huge reward in your own satisfaction. But we all took bets on how many people would sign up, and my number was 150. So if every one of you signs up, then I will win. The other really exciting new thing that we're doing is a program around Henry David Thoreau's Cape Cod. And we are doing a readathon October 7th and 8th. So we're going to be reading for 5 hours each day, reading the entire book. And a lot more to come on that too, if you're interested in being a reader. But also a few other events around that. So August 8th, Scott Miller, who was the photographer who did this incredible photo illustration of Thoreau's Cape Cod with the language of the book too, is going to do a presentation at the Osterville Village Library in the evening. And then we'll also have other things, book club with Walden Woods and a few other things. So keep an eye out for that in our e-news. And we've been really busy with over 70 programs, which have helped us connect with new partners. We have a lot now, and what that has done for us in part is really given us an amazing way to connect with more people. So when we connect with Cape Cod CAN and organizations like that, we have new audiences. When we connect with Cape Cod Healthcare and the community health centers of Cape Cod, they have a very, very big audience that now we have access to. So these partnerships are really helping us grow. And if I forgot to talk about, let's make the next slide. Yeah. So what I do, I pressed it too hard. Back,
One.
more,
One.
there, no, go forward,
Forward one.
forward one,
That's gonna take there.
there you go, okay. So another way we have been doing outreach is through our trail maps. And we had done, I think last year around this time, we had done 3. And now we have done 4. We did our first Portuguese trail map. Yeah, so we have provided access again to a new community on Cape Cod who's very interested in seeing where our trails are and hiking them. And these maps are incredibly popular. They are flying out the door. We had to do a reprint of another 20,000. So we're so happy to be able to provide that for everyone who wants to get outside. The other thing that we did for the first time this year was to work with 2 other land trusts, the Falmouth 300 Committee and Harwich Conservation Trust, to do our first ever in-district meeting with our state elected officials. We had 2 meetings. We had one in Falmouth and one in Harwich. So one for the Upper Cape delegation and one for the Mid, Lower, and Outer Cape delegation. And it was a really wonderful event. I know that Bex was there in Falmouth, and all of the legislators came, all of the land trusts came, a lot of town officials came. We were able to have conversations together and show people where our work is, how it's helping our environment, where state program funding is going, and how important it is. And we were able to tell them what programs were most important to us, what needs more money, and to thank them. Because Massachusetts has a really, really good supportive state program for land conservation. So we hope this is going to be an annual event. This is a picture of the one we did in Harwich. Hopefully next year will be at Fuller Farm. And it's a new thing for us to connect with these really important decision makers. So yes, that's my story. And maybe before we get to Beth, if anyone has any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
You just mentioned that the town has been, town GIS has been considered.
Yes, we have incredible partners at the town of Barnstable in very many ways, but the GIS department especially is incredibly helpful. They were helpful with the maps. They are helpful with our own mapping. They're just really treasure, as is the town overall.
Does not charge you.
But
And does not charge either.
and they do not charge us. Yay! Yes.
Yes, I just want to thank you for inviting me to Falmouth and Harwich. I think it's a very good idea what you're doing. The state officials, we should, I call it, put our boots on the ground. You know, see what you're talking about, feel it. That way we can fight better for it, right? Because there's millions of dollars that are spent. The state budget for 1 year is $57 billion for 1 year. And I'm on the committee that gets to assign all that, right? It's pretty special, but everybody's fighting for something. And then it just becomes like pieces of paper. But now that I see it, feel it, I can be a better advocate. So please keep doing that. It's so special. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions before we move on? You can also ask us afterwards. Okay. I see a interest in moving on. Okay.
I think a lot of people are gonna be buying Steve a drink afterwards. We know he's sitting next to that money. Great that you're hearing the story today. You know, before we're gonna do a President's Award to Beth Owens, and while you come up here, so I can embarrass you in front of.
Please.
I just want to make a comment. You know, we've heard a lot about, you know, the board and leadership and the staff at the land trust in volunteers, all very important. But I don't think we should forget and thank all of you for everything you do out in the community in terms of, you know, whether it's financial support or just being good ambassadors for the land trust. I'd like you to give yourselves a nice round of applause. We really appreciate it. Okay, now, it's my great pleasure to talk about Beth Otis, who is going off the board. And I'll give you a little background here. I think there's a write-up maybe in the program, but Beth lives in Katuitt. She joined BLT as an experienced local businesswoman with strong marketing, fundraising, business development, and networking skills. She is the ultimate can-do, will-do person. That's a little theme for her. She has worked in diverse industries, including technology, real estate, consulting, and has extensive experience renovating historic properties and designing new construction. Her expertise in design and business acumen as the owner and principal designer, here comes the plug, of Design Number 5, quickly became invaluable to BLT as she spearheaded significant projects for the organization. Beth played a pivotal role in the acquisition and renovation of our BLT office and conservation center on Route 6A in Barnstable, West Barnstable, and also the Michael R. Kramer Center at Fuller Farm. And Jackie, you remember back in the days when we got a hold of that property and we spent years trying to figure out what to do with it. And several people on the board, and Beth included, really spearheaded an effort to get that, come up with a great concept, which we've executed, and we're all very proud of. Great job on that, Beth, really. As chair of the development committee, Beth played a vital role in re-energizing that important committee and kind of putting some new energy into it. And her impact on the outreach and marketing efforts will be felt for years to come at BLT. We're gonna miss you. And I'm really angry at myself. I wasn't able to talk you into another term. So we have a little memento. Of our appreciation and admiration for you. Principal interest. No, that's not a check. But-
Give it back. Thanks, Jeff.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
All right. Oh.
Is that the best you can do, Joe?
Yeah, well, it's not dark yet. Okay. Thanks. All right, next up, John Miller. Please present yourself up here. John is also receiving a President's Award. My man, John. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
So you're speaking over there? Okay. So it gives me also a great pleasure to present the President's Award to John Miller. John came to Cape Cod 53 years ago. Fell off my chair when I read that. Right after college at Rider University in New Jersey, where he majored in finance. Pennsylvania native, John has had success in broadcasting, advertising, marketing, and technology. Today, he's the founder and owner of J. Miller Picture Framer and Gallery in Mashpee, which this year is celebrating its 25th anniversary. John's interest in BLT began several decades ago after crossing paths with Jackie Parton. What the heck was that? Mission, and learning about the mission of the organization. He was a longtime member of the Dennis Conservation Commission, Dennis Water Quality Advisory Committee, and later served on Mashpee's Conservation Commission for 4 years. His interest in environment and open space preservation led to an invitation by yours truly to join the board in 2011, and later succeeded Leanne Hess as president. This must be another board call, I'm trying to recruit you. He oversaw the organization during a period of significant transition, leadership change, and growth. Following John's tenure on the board, he continued to engage with BLT as a long-standing member of the Finance Committee, from which he recently stepped down. John, I can't thank you for everything you brought to the table for BLT, and it's been a great pleasure to work with you. Like, I'm trying to come up with a nickname, but the best I could do was, because you're a sage in the world of nonprofit. I think we left out, you also were on the Cape Cod Community College Education Foundation, I think, and maybe was president of that board. So he's done a lot in the nonprofit world, and he's really kind of the Yoda of nonprofits. I think. So that's a compliment, John. Thank you very much. We couldn't do a picture frame request to you, so. You wanted a job?
Yeah, if you don't mind, so, thank you. Lisa Drake, that's you, you're from Mashpee?
Yes.
Anybody else here from Mashpee? Not bad. Who else in here does not live in the town of Barnstable?
Yes.
I was quite impressed with Janet's, everybody's remarks today, but the slide about the community partnerships, I think is a significant advancement of the role of BLT in the Cape Cod community, the larger Cape Cod community. And the fact that there are increasing numbers of people that live outside of the immediate domain of BLT is significant, because a lot of the problems that BLT and other land trusts and similar organizations are trying to address don't know the town boundaries that the environment doesn't recognize. So I think that's a great plus and a great tribute to everybody in this room as well. So I'm happy to be joined by another fellow Mashpee resident. I've lived in Mashpee for like 20 years now after defecting from Venice. So congratulations to everyone, and thank you very much for the rest.
Okay. Now. Brendan. This year's, just a reminder of what our Founders Award is. It is honoring the person who has the vision to lead and empower the people of Barnstable to preserve the essence of Cape Cod, its open spaces and natural resources, wetlands, woodlands, and wildlife. So Brendan, if you don't mind joining me up here. Often our Founders Award goes to someone more advanced in years. Don't be fooled by the white hair. He is a young one. But it's an honor, really. I didn't mean that. It is an honor, and I'm so glad that I get the chance to give this award, because Brendan has been an incredible leader in conservation on and off the Cape. And yet has really never drawn attention to his role or his really significant accomplishments. He is Vice President for Watershed Protection for the Buzzards Bay Coalition, which he joined in 2008. He came to the Buzzards Bay Coalition after serving as Land Stewardship Director and then Reserve Director at the Wacoit Bay National Marine Estuary Reserve. He lives in Cotuit, and he served on the board of Barnstable Land Trust from 2014 to 2018, and he still serves on our Land Protection Committee and is an incredibly important advisor in our work on land acquisition and protection, and sometimes stewardship as well. And he is an incredibly active advocate for conservation on Cape Cod, each year organizing the convocation of Cape Cod Conservation, the convocation of Cape Cod Conservation Trust with Mark Robinson. which brings together over 100 land trust board and staff to learn together. And he's also been an incredibly effective advocate for land conservation through the Mass Land Trust Coalition, which is the statewide coalition of land trusts, building strong relationships with state agency funders and policy leaders and elected officials at all levels. He's also been a leader in adopting funding strategies, using new funding sources from the state and federal governments for cutting-edge conservation projects on the South Coast and the Upper Cape, providing models for all of us smaller land trusts. And he's been a role model and mentor for many land stewardship staff at the coalition and BLT. He was responsible for sending us Kelly Barber, for which we are forever grateful. In addition to being a leader in science and management, he is an incredible communicator. And I think that's another way that he has helped Barnstable Land Trust as well, just helping us learn how to talk more clearly about what we do and its value and importance. And his emphasis on the community aspects of conservation has really supported new directions at the coalition and at BLT and many other organizations. I remember when I first started and was meeting with all the board members 6.5 years ago, Brendan and I met at a Starbucks. One, he was drinking some really weird orange drink. And
Black coffee. Something else.
no, it was weird. And he talked to me more about people than about the land and how important it was to engage people on the land, to engage people with the land, to engage people with people on the land. And it just is a message that I think resonates incredibly well and has been sort of foundational for our growth. He's also demonstrated how thinking bigger is necessary to accomplishing more, and he translates insider lingo and science into concepts that everyone can understand. And above all, he is immensely practical. So those traits are so important, both for the work that he does, but also in his leadership role and mentorship role to all of us. So for all of those reasons, I am so thrilled to be awarding Brendan with the Founders Award this year.
Thank you so much, Janet. Thank you, all of you. The comment about communication, for some reason, it made me think of, I think it was Holly at the auction that we had on Ropes Field in advance of Lowell Park, or the Lowell Park Woodlands. Was it Tom Burgess and I, she made us dress up as trees and kind of putting my communication skills to work. No show like that today. I really appreciate this recognition, but I want to say I really, truly value this organization. How many people got outside this morning? It was gorgeous. It's been so muggy and steamy. I woke up, I look outside between the pine needles and the sky is blue and the sun is shining. I started my day walking around Eagle Pond, which is how I normally start my day. I didn't see any of you out there because I only saw one person with Molly the dog on a leash. Then I drive to work and I'm going by the Marston's Mills River. Beep, beep, there's Kelly. Not by herself, whole band of volunteers out there working already. I'm just starting my drive to work, they're already there. Continue on up 149 and past the fields at Fuller Farm, the new barn. When I come home from work, I choose to go the other way, so I end up coming through Mashpee, John, beat maybe. Come over the Santua River, go past Ropes Field. For the past month, I'd say about a dozen times, I stop. Meet my wife, meet my 15-year-old son who's grown up in Barnstable. And we wander through the Lowell Park woodlands together with a lot of my neighbors and a lot of you probably. To watch the baseball games. I guess what I'm trying to say is that's pretty special. And it made me think, oh, I'm lucky. We're lucky. That made me think of something, which was about 5 years ago, I was with August, my 15-year-old son, we were skating on Eagle Pond. Mark takes me skating there as soon as I moved to Katuitt, and it's been a tradition ever since. That year it had frozen like perfectly smooth, glass, black, clear through. The picture I took of my son was just a reflection of the trees and the sky of the Barnstable Land Trust land that's protected there, with August skating through it. And I sent it to you and you and you and the folks that I was on the board with. And I remember some people replying and saying, oh, we're so lucky. I agree with. But I mentioned my wife Anne, because I felt really good about this picture of it. And she said, yeah, we're lucky. But it's like that because of a lot of hard work from a lot of people over time. And that's what was resonating with me this morning as I was walking around Eagle Pond again. And for that reason, you know, I have you to thank for the recognition, but I want to thank the people. I want to thank the founders 40 years ago. Really good idea. Really good idea. Jackie Barton, for a long time, a career, creates the organization into what it is. Mark, I have to recognize, because you're recognizing me for achievements of my career and contributions. Mark Robinson, another quiet guy in the room. But I have to recognize, along with Jackie, tremendous mentors to me over this period of time for the things that you're recognizing me for. I didn't come up with these things, I learned them from others that came ahead of me and had figured out how to do this and were willing to show me and set an example for how to do this. But I want to thank the other board members that I shared the time with. A lot of you are here. And maybe specifically the leaders of that herd of cats, including Leanne and John and Joe, at least for the time I was here. That's an extra bit of effort on the board, an extra bit of volunteer. It needs that leader. That's important. And certainly Janet. For the time that she's been here, we've developed a great relationship. We are important colleagues to each other. I think you are an important colleague to me. We bounce ideas off of each other, often on that drive to work as I pass Fuller Farm. After I enjoy that view, then maybe give Janet a call and have a chat about something, or she gives me a call. And to the rest of the staff at Barnstable Land Trust, it takes those people to do these things. This is hard work. This is really popular work, as what Janet said. These are things that people want. The people in our community really want this, but it takes people to do it. And these are the people that do it. And I'm going to include all of you, as someone else did, whether you're a volunteer, maybe one that I saw this morning or otherwise, or a member or a supporter, or you enjoy the lands in some way. But your encouragement and support of the organization enables the group of people who are doing that, who are giving their time and focusing on this to get these things done. So my point is that BLT is not a thing. BLT is not the entity that holds the deeds to these lands around town on the map. BLT is a group of people. BLT is a community. And the work that BLT gets done is really, really important. And it's what allowed for those experiences that I mentioned at the beginning, but maybe walking around the pond or driving through town, or the experience I shared with my son on the ice. It's what allows for that, and continued support of this organization, continued support of those ideas, and these people who are doing those things. Means that those experiences will be shared in those special places. By your children and your grandkids and people that you don't even know in the future. So thank you for recognizing me, and get outside tomorrow morning.
That's the show, folks. Okay, I was gonna say,
Fine.
thank you so much for coming. Please enjoy some more beverages and snacks and conversation for a little while longer. And do we need more photos? Or did you get them?
get a group shot.
Yeah,
There's
if we could have just the award winners stay for a minute. Thank you all very much.
Oh, you know what? They can go all the time. That's what I've been writing. It's like those different hours.
I know.